can have all sorts of applications, and I just literally dropped it. Goddamn.
It's all good. You didn't see that.
This is the Logitech Lift, and it is a game changer. How you guys doing? Techie here, and today we're going to unbox and give you an overview and my experience in the short term of how the Logitech Lift has worked out for me. This is a vertical mouse, so it's basically unlike most mouse that you hold like this, you hold this one like this, which kind of makes sense. When you put your hand on the table, the instinct, your basic natural position is to go down like this, which means holding the mouse like this should be naturally more easier and more of an instinct than holding it like this. But we're just used to using this quite a bit. And there's a lot of claims that this is actually much more safer and better for your wrist and wrist pains and all that. I don't know. I think it's just habits and how you use it. But this is probably going to be easier to just hold. Now, when it comes to using, that's a whole other thing. Like, it depends on how we end up using it and how far and how you twist your arms. It can have all sorts of applications, and I just literally dropped it. Goddamn.
It's all good. You didn't see that.
But it's still in one piece, hopefully. And the cool thing about this, it is wireless, but it does have the Logitech Bolt receiver, which you can pair with another Logitech Bolt accessory like their keyboard. But the cool thing about this for me is the 24-month battery life. That is insane. And this is not a battery that's special. It's just, I think, a double or triple A battery. That's it. It's a regular battery, but it's claiming 24 months of battery life. Now, even if it gives me half of that a year on one cell of battery or two, whatever it may be, probably just the one, that's insane. And it has whisper quiet clicks. Probably, I believe that the angle being it is, I'm guessing you're not clicking like this. You're clicking like this, so you probably also that helps. And you can customize your favorite buttons because you do have buttons on the side, as you may be able to see on the side here. Over here, you get two buttons, and you have the left and right click, as well as the click down on the mouse wheel, and you can scroll up and down. Now, there's a bit of DPI details, which I'll put on the screen here. Aside from that, it's supposed to work just as well with Windows and Mac. But I do know with Mac, the second buttons don't really work as well as intended, or the smooth scroll is not a thing. Apparently the Magic Mouse, I think that's what the Mac version is, that one has a much better, smoother scroll. This was more of a static stop-start feel to it. So those are the main features. I'm going to tear into this one now. I've definitely done my research, but funny enough, this is one of the things that I did my research after I bought it. I saw the deal, and I liked the price so much, and I was like, you know what, this intrigues me. This is something I always wanted to try, but I wasn't sure if this was for me, right? So I wanted to give it a go. I read this somewhere, 70% recycled plastic. So that's kind of cool. And I'm not talking about the box. I'm talking about the actual mouse. And there you go. You pull this out. The box also kind of looks like it's made from recycle. Pretty empty otherwise, other than this group of things, which includes... Oh, no, never mind. Yeah, that's just the top lip. It gives you a little bit of how to connect with the Bluetooth, and that's the mouse itself. In this profile, it kind of looks weird, doesn't it? It has a weird kind of shape to it, but the way it's done, it's obviously you hold it like this, and the idea is you hold it like this, right? So this is the smaller version. There is a bigger version called the Master Vertical or something. I'll put the name in there on the screen for you right now. But basically, that version is... for a bigger hand. And Logitech has a website that can help you measure your hand and the length you can go with it. They do it with credit cards, so it's easy enough for you to measure. For me, I don't think I've had large hands or tiny ones. I think it's kind of like very average. So this looks fine. It is whisper quiet. I don't know if you can hear that. I can hear it, but it's definitely... Now, using it is gonna get a little takes a little getting used to. When you put it on, let me just pull this out. So, okay, so you have the protector there, and like I said, it was the one AA battery. Is this AA? This is AA. And then you put that in, and then you have the receiver in here as well. There you go, which is the tiny receiver thing. But I'm glad they have a slot for it inside, so you don't lose it if you do have to travel with this mouse. which is a great way for you to do it because it's wireless again and it has tons of battery, so not a problem. Just make sure you take the battery. Well, if you're putting it in your carry-on, it's fine. But if you're traveling by air, take the battery out if you're putting, checking in the bag. So that's the receiver, and then you. Oh, that's cool. It's magnet. So you press this, it pops out. You press here, it opens the thing, and you let it go, it goes down. So you have the power on and off button over here, so you can switch it off when you don't use it. Obviously, I'm guessing it's not continuous use of 24 months. Not sure. They have 3 devices, it seems like you can connect to, which is also pretty cool. For someone who works on a laptop and a PC, or if you have a Mac, a Bluetooth tablet, and then a PC, great. You can just use the one mouse. It does make things easier. Like I said, this is gonna take some getting used to. So if I place the mouse like this, right? This is how I'm holding it like this. It feels kind of weird, like it's gonna slip off. But there is this good thing is this is rubber, so it kind of feels like you get a little bit of a grip. But it does feel like you're constantly like fighting gravity. So that's gonna be a little weird for me. And the scroll wheel is again very quiet, like everything else in this mouse. But it is very smooth and very easy to use. These 2 buttons you can configure with the software, which is good. These 2 buttons and the other side, I'm actually not showing the right side. These 2 buttons, you can make it do different things, and you can actually assign it to do different things on different apps. Really cool. Will take a little bit, to get used to it, but I think it's got potential just because of the way your hand like sits there when you're on the mat. And it's nice. It's just instinctive. The left and the right click, the roll's pretty nice. These 2 buttons with your thumb, it just seems like it works. Now I continue to ramble on for a little bit longer after that, but basically the gist is the first impressions were good. Now I've been using this mouse for over a month and it still holds up. I have no complaints in terms of comfort, in terms of usability and usage, even in a situation which is probably not built for this mouse, like gaming. When I'm speaking of gaming, again, I have to, be very clear here. I'm not like a pro level esports player that plays Valorant and all this, and every little millisecond of difference catches me out. I'm a very casual player. I do enjoy playing games like shooters. I've played a lot of Once Human with the mouse. I've played some finals and so on and so forth. And at no point did I feel like switching to this mouse had given me any kind of disadvantage. Now, the other thing I have to mention for me personally, I actually prefer the way the mouse felt because it actually feels like you're holding and pointing a gun and you're doing a shooter. Now, of course, you're not going to hold a gun like this, but there's that verticality feel to it, and I actually enjoy it more than anything else. And once you finish setting up your mouse and have the software installed and calibrated and connected to your mouse, you will be greeted with this screen. And as you can see, I have 95% battery. Now, I've used the same battery since I've gotten the mouse, so that's in a month of use. And it wasn't at 100%. When I plugged it in, I think it was at like 98 or maybe even just 95% from memory. It wasn't 100%, that I know for sure. And you can see it has really good battery life. I am on my PC all the time. I work on this PC, I play on this PC. I spend literally most of my waking moments at this PC with the mouse on and in use. I do not switch off the mouse when I get up and leave, when I go to bed. It's been on constantly. So the battery is holding up just well. And as I mentioned when we did the unboxing, it is literally just a AA battery cell. That's all it is. You don't have to worry about charging this with a cable or anything of the sort. Honestly, I have never seen a mouse with this good a battery. So I just want to highlight that. First and foremost, if you're looking for a mouse, you don't want to worry about the battery life, this is it. Now, the parts that I really wanted to address when you're getting this mouse set up is, especially if you intend to use this for gaming, is making sure you can use these buttons. And these buttons, I mean the 3 and 4 buttons. If I just hold it, the 3 and 4, these buttons, if you intend to use it in games, certain games, and again, this is not all games, but certain games will have issues with it. So what you need to do, if you click the mouse, you get to customize this, the forward, middle button, what the pointer speed is, and how you change it. And you have two settings on DPI. Basically, you can swap between these two. You can also change that button to mean something else. For example, if you want to do a keyboard shortcut with this button, you can simply do that. But personally, I like the DPI being set so I can change it. I don't think that's a big enough difference, and I wish it showed in DPI and not in percentages, but it is something that, is just part and parcel. So that's the part where I think if you're going for a gaming mouse, you have a lot more control and a lot more specificity when it comes to the speed and DPI settings and such. But day-to-day usage and gaming, for me personally, I have enjoyed using this mouse. But here's the settings that I would recommend. When you go to click this forward, or actually if you go back to uh, point and scroll, yes, in point and scroll, you by default, both of these will be set to on. You want to set them to off. Now, why does this make a difference to a game? I honestly don't have the answer for that. The only thing I do think it does is that when you have those on, you use these buttons to change the scroll wheel behavior. So they stop being 3 and 4 or 4 and 5, whatever buttons they're called. So in this case, it is unless you switch this off, you won't be able to use them in game. And I have felt that it's not as responsive when I use those buttons sometimes, just because the clicking feel, it's not, I'm clicking it now, but it's not like there. Sometimes you feel like it's after a click, only a little bit later it gets registered, because I think it goes to the setting to check if this is on and off, and then goes to give the command of doing it. So it's not a very big feeling, but it is noticeable when you do it, at least at the first couple of times when you start using it. And maybe it's a case of something you get used to, but I haven't noticed it since, and it's been fine for me. And I love using this. This is like an amazing kind of mouse, especially because theoretically it has this thing called the flow, where if you drag the mouse pointer to where the other computer starts, technically the mouse theoretically will take control of that computer's pointer and go from there, so that you can just use the one mouse and use multiple devices. Now, this is not something I've tried purely because I don't really use a second PC next to this PC, so it doesn't really it's not something I can test out for you guys. But this is a Logitech advertised feature, and I usually trust most of their stuff because they test theirs quite well. At least I feel they do when it comes to their features and their products. And of course, you have Easy Switch, which makes switching between PCs very easy, or devices, I guess, if it's not just PCs. So all you have to do is press this button to change to the second and third connected devices. But however, for me, I just use the one device, so I can't really comment on that either. So just something I want to say, it does work. I've seen it being tested when I did my initial research after buying the product, but it does work. The main thing on this that I always come to check is the battery level, which is insane considering it's been a month since I bought it, and these two settings I will 100% recommend you change over on point and scroll. Just make them both to off. Make sure they're off, and then you will be able to use your mouse in games for that 5 and 4 mouse buttons. So that's basically the software experience of the mouse. And when you talk about the hardware, again, when I got it, I had a huge worry that my hand would be, it wouldn't place as well, and it'll have trouble with that. For me, this is my resting position, so my hand never really touches the base of the table. However, I have suggested this mouse to others, and they've tried it out, and for them, they do end up pushing their hand onto the table, and it can cause a little bit of a friction down here. However, for me, the wrist pain or any issues like that has been completely not present. I haven't had any issues. It feels very comfortable to use. And I do think if you have like starting or conditions or even have carpal tunnel, this mouse will be very useful for you purely because the way you hold your hand, you're no longer putting that stretch on your nerves and your wrist down here because you're just naturally putting your hand forward or to the side. It's that way of holding it, which makes it so much easier to use. And I think that makes it a really good mouse. And it's not too expensive. When you consider the Logitech range of products, when I want to say about 3 years ago, 4 years ago, you had to pay an insane markup in India at least to get these products, and they were still good quality. So I know there's a lot of like MX Master fans out there that's gonna be defending that mouse. I do agree that mouse is next level productivity. This mouse, I wouldn't say it's a productivity tool; it's a comfort tool. Just because the way you use this mouse is how you want to just spend your day to day. You don't want to think about this as a tool that'll increase your speed or productivity or anything like that. Although you can assign buttons to certain apps to do certain things, for me, it's very straightforward. It's the comfort. It's the fact that when I'm holding the mouse, I don't even think about the fact that I'm holding the mouse anymore. It's become a thing where I can't genuinely imagine going back to a regular mouse. And the fact that it's very portable and very easy to travel with and it has insane battery life just makes this a very compelling purchase and something I can wholeheartedly recommend. This video again, not sponsored, not paid for. The mouse was bought with my own money, and it is a completely 100% unbiased consumer review after long-term use. And you got the unboxing experience, as chaotic as it was, and I've genuinely just enjoyed using this mouse so much that it's anyone that comes to me with a recommendation of like I have a budget of about 5 to 6,000 rupees. That would be around $80. What would you recommend for a mouse? This is going to be top of my list. Again, not because this is a gamer mouse or lightest or has a productivity features or is the next MX mouse. No, it's not. No, this mouse is just so damn comfortable. It is so comfortable to use, and I cannot convey that with words. That's why I'm repeating this point tirelessly. I really hope you give a vertical mouse a chance, and my recommendation is to go with this one. If you have a little bigger hands, you want the higher one, there's the Ace or Master one as well for this, and it looks slightly different. The top is slightly different, but equally dependable. Logitech products, you can trust that. You can take that to the bank. Never an issue. This mouse, personally, the only issue I've had, and this is a me thing. This is not a you thing. This is not an issue of the mouse. This is a me thing because of the way I hold and move the mouse. When I'm moving the mouse to the left, when I do quick sweeping moves to the left, and I'll show you right now. Let me just move my mic here. If I'm moving this to the left like this, and I find myself putting some pressure on it, I click the right click quite often or the left click because I'm at least at the beginning I used to. I've noticed I've done it less now. It's because I'm trying to move it. And the thing is I put pressure instead of putting pressure on my thumb and using that to move. I put pressure on these and push to click. The reason this happens, the problem is when it's like this and you put any sort of pressure on the clicker, it clicks immediately purely because it's very sensitive, it's very quiet and soft, and it clicks immediately. I do wish there was a little bit more resistance because I feel like if it had that kind of a feel to it, it would counteract the issue of just like these ghost clicks I've run into. But again, this is not something that happens a lot anymore because I think I've just learned how to move and shift with this mouse. Again, on gaming, on FPS, multiplayer games, shooters, I've had nothing but a great time, and it's made my life a lot easier because it's just so comfortable to use. We don't really do any star based ratings here, but if we did have one, this one would get 5 stars hands down. If you get this for a sale, don't hesitate. Please take my word for it. This is a really good mouse you will enjoy and has the longevity and the backing of a great company like Logitech. Again, this is something I bought with my own money. I have no connections to Logitech, but when a good company makes good products consistently, you have to appreciate it. I've yet to have an issue with any Logitech product that I've ever bought. And in fact, I'm probably going to get their keyboard next to give that a go, especially when I'm traveling. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed the video and you like the in-depth long-term use review style, please do consider hitting that like button and subscribing and joining us for the ride. I am trying to make sure that value is the main focus when it comes to our videos, that it's, if you watch something, you get to take away something from it. And I hope this video was of value to you. If it was, if you have a friend considering this mouse, make sure you send them the link to this video. Maybe if they have any questions, please tell them they can ask in the comments below. I always respond, especially if it's a question that I have an answer to. If not, I can at least guide you to where to look. This is it for the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a fantastic day ahead.